Would anyone like a smoke before we start? Anna?
No.
Mom?
No
Samantha?
way. No way.
Well, if you change your mind, I'll pass it around. That's interesting. No one smokes in this group. Well, you probably don't smoke because you've learned from an early age that nothing good comes from smoking, except maybe taxes. Smoking leads to heart disease and lung cancer, which are two of the most preventable diseases. But what would you think if I told you that you can still be harmed by the negative effects of smoking while you are making the good decision not to smoke? I'm Katie Sykes, and I've recently been exposed to this issue through research I've done on smoking in America. Today, I'm going to convince you that the decision to allow or disallow smoking should be made at the city or county level, as opposed to the individual or private property ownership level. I'm going to focus my argument on indoor and public places, primarily. But we're going to look at three main reasons that I have for the reason why smoking should be allowed or disallowed on the city or county level. And those are the effects of secondhand smoke on non-smokers. Secondly, the effects of smoking on the environment. And thirdly, risks that we would face in our population and families if we allow smoking. So, to begin, the Center for Disease Control reports that 19% of Americans smoke. That means that 81% of Americans do not smoke. Yet, 100% of non-smokers could be at risk for secondhand smoke. Now, according to the Center for Disease Control, non-smokers who breathe secondhand smoke increase their risk for heart disease by 25 to 30%. The CDC, the Center for Disease Control, also says that there's no risk-free level of secondhand smoke, which means that every brief exposure to secondhand smoke is negative when it comes to your health and could be a risk. Did you know that secondhand smoke exposure causes 46,000 deaths each year of non-smokers due to secondhand smoke? Now, this leads me to ask myself, can the majority of people be taking these risks just so that a minority of people can smoke? I don't think so. But let's look at another factor. Let's look at the effect of smoking on the environment and pollution. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, tobacco butts, which are, used cigarettes, are the number one form of debris in the United States. Globally, about 4.3 trillion tobacco butts are littered on the earth every year. Tobacco butts endanger wildlife because birds or fish swallow them and eat them thinking that they're food, but only to be poisoned. Clearly, limiting the areas that cigarettes would be used could help diminish their negative effects on the environment. So, this is another reason why I believe smoking should be banned, able to be banned on the city or county level. We should protect our land and sea. Now finally, if you're not convinced that smoking should be allowed or disallowed on the city or county level as opposed to the individual, a person's choice based on their own cost-benefit analysis, let's look at one final proven argument. Remember we said 19% of the United States population smokes, while 81%, the majority, does not smoke. Well, Ronald Baer of Columbia University's Public Health School says that the majority of the population, which does not smoke, also believes that they have the right to go places, say to go to a park or beach or a restaurant without even seeing smoke. Now, how do they justify this, you might ask? Well, Dr. Bayer says that people believe this because they equate it to almost how we ban things on TV. We ban things on TV because we want to protect children and people from seeing things that we consider bad practices. We don't want to encourage certain things, so we ban them. So, Dr. Bayer says that there actually is proof that this process of what he calls denormalizing smoking does have a positive effect on public health. Now, denormalizing means we take something that used to be normal, like smoking, and we turn it in through legislation into something that's no longer socially accepted. We kind of ban it or tax it so much that it becomes weird and just not positively viewed anymore. So Dr. Bayer says that if we denormalize smoking, there is already proof that it has a positive effect on especially kids in the rates at which people would begin to smoke, which would be beneficial for our public health. So, in conclusion, today we've learned that there are many reasons smoking should be determined on the city or county level as opposed to the individual private property level. We learned that eliminating smoking in indoor spaces is truly the only